So a lot of tonight's meeting is going to be surrounding the incidents that occurred on Fairlawn with DC Water. We'll also be talking about Anacostia High School and the closure with the school. And we'll go. If everybody could do me a favor and just mute their microphones for me, that would be great. Okay, there we go. So we're going to just go ahead and get into it. I'll sort of let you know where we stand and what happened. As you may or may not know, on Sunday, residents along Fairlawn woke up to a sewage backup that was going into their basements. We had approximately 3 inches of water that came into their basements, affecting a good part of the downstairs, basically. I came on scene as a result of just sort of walking in the neighborhood, and immediately called DC Water and started that initiated of getting their team involved. Today, we are happy to say that most of the residents are back in their units. However, there's a couple of incidences where some residents don't have any hot water, and so we're mitigating that and working through that as well. So most of Sunday afternoon, I think I was there from like 9 until 6:30 or 7:30, something like that. We worked through getting the teams in place, including ServePro. I always want to call them ProServe. And so when they got there in the afternoon, thankfully we were able to begin having the basements addressed. The water had already resided. However, there was, in some cases, a decent amount of sludge that remained, and that needed to be cleaned up. It needed to be sanitized, and in a lot of cases, about a foot of their downstairs, like the drywall, was removed, dried out, sanitized, and the sort of the same thing has been happening over at Anacostia High School. So in the afternoon of Sunday, as all of this was going on and we had all the resources on the ground, somebody realized that the backup actually affected Anacostia High School as well. When I went to go check on the residents on Monday morning, one of the residents told me that Anacostia was affected as well, so I walked over there to find that the entire square footage of the first floor was affected and had sludge. Now, they had already started mitigating the problem on Sunday afternoon without notifying DC Water or any of the other entities that I'm aware of. And so when I came into the school, there was instructors and stuff wearing masks and various other things. And I was concerned because just the day before, with working with the residents, I was told that it was unadvised that residents remain in their house. That's why they were put up in a hotel room. And so in the back of my mind, I was concerned because we had students in the school, attending school during we had students in the school, attending school, while there were still sludge and sewage in the first floor. At 10:30 in the morning, we had about 6 to 8 feet of water of sewage in the elevator shaft, and as you can imagine, this was a great alarm to me, and I started asking questions: why students were there, who was making these decisions. Unfortunately, in complete transparency, this afternoon I had invited DC Public Schools to our meeting, and to this meeting, and I'm going to read it verbatim. Good evening, Commissioner Donohue. Thank you for the invitation to speak on behalf of DC Public Schools. Unfortunately, due to the short notice of the invitation, we are unable to participate in the programmed agenda. We remain committed to keeping our school communities informed and will continue to provide timely updates to any impacted schools as new information becomes available. So my response was, that's unfortunate. Can you tell me whether the school will be open tomorrow so I can at least let the community know and how the air quality checks are going? The response from DCPS Lauren Brown, who's the Deputy Chief Family and Community Engagement, was, greetings. I anticipate the status of school operations will be shared directly with the school community shortly. Now, I am the duly elected official of Fairlawn. I represent 2,000 constituents, and I take the obligation of me representing them very seriously. I have it's very unfortunate that DCPS has taken this position that they will announce the status of school operations will be shared directly with the school community shortly. I think their DCPS has a lot of questions to answer, including but not limited to why the school was opened on Monday when they knew that the condition of the first floor, especially given they were cleaning it on Sunday afternoon. And then I understand that they may not be very happy with the fact that I had shared the conditions of the school in full transparency. I think that that's really important. In fact, I'm surprised that they had a problem with it, because the issue, from what we can tell, and Alan can talk to this in a minute, may not have been their fault. So it was just a matter of, this is the condition, this is what it is, we need to cancel school, whatever the case might be. But for them to begin to mitigate it and not inform anybody, and then to allow the students to come into school is a great concern. It's a concern that I will be taking up with the full commission next week. I've asked it to be added to the agenda. So with that said, we have a representative from DC Water here. DC Water can explain their relationship and how this plays with other subcontractors as well. I have Alan Salas here. Actually, Alan. And do you need me to share?
I'll share my screen.
Okay.
That's fine.
Will it allow you?
It should be, yeah.
Okay.
Check. Can people see my screen over there? Can someone, I can't see who is saying yes or no, but
Yes.
I'm assuming.
Okay, great.
All right, so I'll just go through.
And can everybody hear Alan as well?
Can you guys hear me? I mean, I can raise my voice.
Yes.
Yes. One. Okay. So this is kind of a short presentation of, why we're having this project, giving you a bit of introduction about myself, Alan Salas. I'm the DC Water project manager for the project on Fairlawn and 16th Street. And with me, I have a few of other DC Water folks, including my communications team. And I also have Fort Myers, the contractor. So we hired the Fort Myers to do this work. So that's pretty much our team. So our team is here today, I guess, at least the main people here. So just a little bit of background on the asset, and that runs along Fairlawn. That is right next to, that goes through your community. This is called the Anacostia main interceptor. It's for short. So if I say AMI, that stands for Anacostia main interceptor. And then just kind of the updates of the emergency work that we've done, and how it developed, right? Just the agenda a little bit. I'm going to give you a little bit of project information. There are two phases for this project. Phase one was completed, successfully completed. And then right now we're in the middle of phase two, which is what with Tom, we've been working together to make sure that the community is happy with the project, up until even now, up until last week, everything was going fine and well. And then after that, I'll just go, brief update of the October 26th basement backup event, just kind of where we are right now. And then the rest of the work and schedule for this very important asset. and then how to contact us, and then some sort of information that I think will provide for you. To answer any questions you may have, and you have collect your information. So I'll go over that. And you guys hear me okay before I continue?
Yes.
Yes.
So project information, the issue, it all started in December 2023. We got a call from our command center that there was a sinkhole in your area. This was located at 16th Street and Fairlawn Avenue. So when we went out there, you can see this picture here. I'm not sure if you can see my cursor, but that's how we found the site. So it was a big sinkhole. It was probably 20 feet long by 15 feet deep, and you couldn't even see the pipe, right? So we immediately call our emergency contractor. And then just to give you the size of this pipe, this is a 54 by 60 inch pipe. It brings flow all the way from Maryland. It collects flow from your community and other communities around there. And eventually it's all connected to the Blue Plains so that it could be treated, and it could be treated at Blue Plains facility. So everything's all connected. And this pipe, because it's a main interceptor, the size of it is 54 by 60 inch pipe. So it's 5 feet, and the location, like I said, in the specific sinkhole happened at Fairlawn Avenue, which you guys are pretty familiar with it. So that's how we found the sinkhole. For phase one, what we did for phase one when we got there. Okay, so the scope for phase one, it was immediately just trying to make sure that that area, the sinkhole, didn't get any bigger. So we put a trench box around the area. So it's just, I guess to put it in plain terms, just a metal piece around this pipe so that there is no further erosion. So the site was stabilized with a trench box by the DC Water's emergency contractor. The sinkhole was secure, and we put up a fence and some barriers there so that there was no one to go in there by accident. And we also have bypass pumping operations. So what happened was, just imagine all that dirt in that sinkhole above that pipe. When it collapsed, all that dirt went into the pipe. So what it caused the pipe to be mostly blocked. So there was no, you couldn't see the top of the pipe. There was a concern for sewer backups. So in order for us to mitigate that, we immediately put a bypass pumping system. So what the bypass pumping system does is just lowers the levels at the sinkhole. It goes, it bypasses that location so that that's not an issue for blockage, right? So the bypass pumping operations were in place since December 2023 when we found the sinkhole all the way until May of 2024. During those bypass operations were performed, we also did heavy cleaning. So all that dirt that went into the sinkhole, we had to clean it. So that took about 5 to 6 months. We had to do also like an emergency contractor to come in place from out of state to clean all this pipe. So the picture that you see on the left, that's literally the trench box and the pipe there. You see that flow. And then the ones on the left, all that debris, that's how much it was taken. So we took a lot of tons and tons of debris from that pipe. I mean, it took, like I said, it took 5 months. Sometimes we were able to do 10 linear feet per day. So there was a lot of debris that was from the sinkhole, but also just overall, from that settles over time, right? So for phase one, we finished the heavy cleaning, and we did a temporary repair. So what you see on the bottom right, it's just we temporarily patch it while we do the long-term project. The cost for this work was around $2 million. That includes the heavy cleaning, the bypass, and the initial emergency efforts. And like I said, the timeline, we mobilized in December 2023, right after we found the sinkhole. We did a temporary repair in February 2024, and then we continue with the bypass operations and heavy cleaning to remove all that debris. So that was phase one. That was the emergency response. Phase two, we're taking advantage of this. I mean, I guess in the silver lining, also comes in next. There you go. So for phase two, we were going to do the long-term high priority project. So more of fix that area, but also take advantage and do upstream and downstream of that segment. So the project transitioned from emergency to high priority repair, and the site was taken over by our current contractor for Myers in spring of 2024, right after the heavy cleaning operations concluded. The scope for this work is 2,200 linear feet of pipe due to poor condition. and then just to put it into where it is in space, so that goes from 13th Street, goes behind the high school, and it ends in 17th Street. So that's the segment that we're trying to repair because it's in poor condition, and we want to make sure that this doesn't happen again, this type of sinkhole doesn't happen again in the next, in the future. So we're trying to be proactive about it and just fix, almost a little bit less than half a mile of pipe. So for this operation to be done, we need the pipe to be dry because there's going to be a man entry. So we have to have sewer bypass operations that, eventually bypasses all that flow so that the pipe is dry. And that bypass operations runs from 13th Street to 18th Street. And that's where I think we had a few complaints on 18th Street about the noise and about some smell. So if you see at the bottom left, we were putting some barriers to kind of absorb all that noise levels, kind of like sound barriers. And I think that has worked pretty well with the bypass operations. And then, so that's the main bypass segment that we need to do. But the overall bypass footprint, it runs from all the way from 13th to 18th Street. And the construction cost, just the construction cost for this work is $9.5 million. So like I say, we're actively, investing in this asset and trying to make sure that this doesn't happen again. So the construction cost is $9.5 million. And the schedule, after the heavy cleaning from last year, inspection and design of this full work was completed in May 2025. And then construction started in July of 2025, and we expect to finish in spring of 2026. So, so that's phase 2 work. Anyone has any questions before I move forward with the rest of why, this, essentially this pipe, it's all connected. When you flush down the toilet, it goes through a lateral, that goes to another line, a bigger line, and then that line eventually connects to this big asset that carries all the flow to King Plains. So this is a critical infrastructure for the community and for the communities around it.
What caused the incident on Sunday?
Yeah, so that's I guess that's my next slide. So like I said, we have bypass pumping includes large, bypass large sewer, but we also have 2 connections, right? So we have 2 connections coming from 16th Street and 17th Street. So that line connects to the main pipe. So we also have to divert that flow into the main system. And so what happened is we're back up on the Sunday morning. It seems that the pump, there was some type of pump failure that it shouldn't have happened. So that's what we're still conducting an investigation of what actually, what happened, because we have essentially a system and a backup system so that it doesn't happen. You almost have a pump working at all times, right? And that's part of our planning, to make sure that nothing like this occurs. But it seems that, we still don't know what the issue was, but for some reason, those pumps were not being turned on.
So have you determined why the pumps failed?
I'll come to you next.
Yeah, so that's what we're actively investigating. I think the contractor is doing their investigation, and then we're working with them to get to the bottom of what actually caused. It seems that there was some type of pump failure, but we're trying to get to the details of it. We're also, I guess, in terms of the cost, we're also doing some dye testing. Was performed today to confirm some nearby connections to see how the whole system is connected. We do have, a good knowledge of how it's connected, but sometimes there are connections that were done either, illegal connections or it's just not on the drawing, so it was never documented back in, 100 years ago, 50 years ago, right? So that's sometimes a challenge of these underground systems. So like I said, we're trying to actively investigate, and in terms of the response measures, all the houses impacted, as far as I know, were cleaned by ServePro, who's under for Myers, our contractor, and they're currently finishing the cleaning of the high school and working on remediation efforts to open the school as soon as possible. So we're working with DC Public Schools and community to discuss next steps, and I guess that's why we're here, just to provide, be transparent about what we know and what we don't know, and then how we go from here. So still not done.
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah, let's first finish up and then we'll.
So yeah, in terms of how to, the phase 2 remaining work and schedule and have, just to make sure it doesn't happen again. I guess,
yeah, investigation. Yes. So we're thinking back, we say this little bitty investigation report back to us, so we get that it'll be shared. But we've taken some actions to make sure that this doesn't happen again. We have a fourth pump wash technician on site now. We've added a backup and standby pumps. They're now equipped with a trickle charge for the batteries so they don't run out, so it keeps on charging the batteries. The backup and the bypass system right now is equipped with an auto dial. Like, for example, if the elevation of the levels rise up, Sean Banner for ground witness gets a phone call, and then this one is activated 24/7. For for situations just like the one that happened on Sunday. We've also installed some cameras nearby the pumps on the fencing along the LODs, not only to protect the rentals of their pumps, but also to the residents, in case anybody was decided to try to turn off the pumps.
So there is some concern that that there may have been some that somebody turned off the pump somehow. From our from the initial information that we had, somehow when the pumps were off when everyone got to the pumps, and that meant that somebody had to and I saw it, you literally have to physically turn a key in order for the pumps to be turned off. So why that happened, we're not sure. We are trying to get and we have gotten some Ring doorbell footage. I haven't shared it with you yet, from the neighborhood, because it was within the last hour. But and so did you have more?
Well, I guess maybe one or two slides more.
Yeah.
And then we can maybe open up for questions, right?
Yep.
Here. So that's what they're doing. Like I said, just in summary, we're adding an additional person on. We already had 3 people on site, right? Already, as far as I know, we added a 4th person.
Yes.
So now we're adding a 4th person. We also had even before this, we had security from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Just to make sure that area was. So we took all the precautions needed, and this, like I said, we're trying to get to the bottom of this. This happened, right? So, like I said, we saw it in the monitoring cameras for the pump equipment. And then for the pump, the upcoming activities, like I say, we're going to make sure this doesn't happen again. It's not supposed to happen the way we decided and the way we planned it out. So moving forward, we do need to do additional sewer cleaning because of what we of that pipe, and then we want to start the rehabilitation of this work because this work, no matter what, it needs to happen, right? This asset is very critical. It's more than 100 years old, and it just needs to be repaired.
And so if I understand it, we basically are bypassing. So the regular sewer system that we have, these repairs, we repaired it, and now what we have to do is we're bypassing. We're taking all the sewer from the normal pipeline that's underground, and we're taking it up and out, and that's the big pipe that runs along Fairlawn.
Exactly.
The train track,
Right.
correct. And so we're in order to continue the maintenance and care of the actual underground sewer.
For the rehabilitation work, yes. So there's going to be people that are going to go into that pipe. So you see that picture here on the right?
Mm-hmm.
That's an example of the work that the contractor will do. So someone in there will go, a crew will go there, and they will spray that pipe, right? So right now what's happening, I don't want to get to the details of it, but the pipe, the thickness of it is less than what it used to be, right? Because it degrades over time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to, restore that thickness, and in addition to that, reinforce it even more, so that we don't have to come back to that every few years. This should last for a while. But the pipe needs to be dry, and that's what the bypass is. And the bypass at 16th Street is because they have two sewer connections there, the run along 16 and Fairlawn, and they connect there, right? So we have to also bypass those individual locations.
So basically what you're saying is 16th Street, there's a T there, because looking at that pipe there, and from my front porch, looking over on the train tracks, got the big 4 times the size of that.
Yeah, so you imagine along the tracks, right, parallel to the tracks, you maybe like 15 feet deep. The size of the pipe is like 5 feet pipe. There is a pipe that's getting all that flow from your neighborhood and from the neighborhood next to you. They're all, that pipe is big. Normal flow is 10 MGD, but it can go up to like 30 MGD, 32 MGD, meaning million gallons per second.
19, then down the road down to 16, not 18 speed. It goes down to 19 speed.
Yeah, past 18, 19, yeah. Okay. So the upcoming activities is continue that, and eventually we want to repair that collapse section, which is the single point. Right now, it's still there because that's an entry point for our project. And then the project completion is expected in spring of 2026 and have one more. So in terms of, hearing from you guys, the affected people and everything, we have a hotline, and this number is specific to the project incident. And this is to call to the form office and provide contact information, property address, and other details. And I think one of my team members should hand out some pamphlets of the process of how that works.
Okay.
So
There's a couple of people that have some questions.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Good point. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
my fault. My bad. So we have Alan from DC Water. I'm not sure if you want to.
Yeah.
Fort Myers Construction is one of the subcontractors for DC Water. So DC Water contracts with Fort Myers to do the work. And then I do believe that we have. Do you have anybody else? I think
Yes.
we have a DC Water.
Yes.
DC Water Safety Advisor.
We also have ServePro here.
ServePro is also here. ServePro is the ones that we brought in to mitigate the problems and they basically are doing the cleaning at Anacostia High School and at all of the residence locations. So let me take a question here at the room, and these are local media. These are the news stations. Go ahead, you could. And so I know that you wanted to say that we have to just pass this mic around.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Great job, by the way, Alan. I wanted to ask, in phase one, we see the amount of sludge that was collected. What I think the residents may want to be kind of relieved of is that with the bypass, do we have that amount or to that degree of sludge with all of their sewage going in the bypass? Do we have that level of sludge? Is it less? Is it more? What do you think?
So that phase one was the debris and the people. There's also, of course, debris that settles for years and years. So it's both cleaning the people and debris. There's always, because the pipe is flat, there's always going to be a level of debris. So as part of a routine maintenance, you have to clean the land in between.
Now, we've had in-situ reform and other people out there cleaning already.
That's to prepare. That's light cleaning, just to prepare to make sure the pipe is clean and dry before we spray. With I showed the picture of someone going mechanical. So that's just very light cleaning. It should not be anything massive. Everything that was massive for that segment
Was removed, yes. That's what I wanted the community to be aware of. So them using their toilets, water, washing and drying, you don't, this situation is an anomaly. We just got to figure out what it is, what it was. So it's not something that I think, the community has to be on alert about. If I go and use my restroom or we use our restroom, is this going to happen next week? It's an incident. We just got to figure out what it is, what it was. But it's not just from regular usage. I think the community would kind of be thinking on that term as well, okay?
I think it's also important that we understand how it happened so it doesn't happen again. I think that, and I know firsthand, we've, Alan and I have spent a lot of time together the last couple of days. I know that they've been working very closely on the ground all day trying to figure this out. We did, some, dye testing today that I was there with. So, it's definitely something that these committed professionals are working on very hard to try to identify to assure that this doesn't happen again. There's a couple of questions in the chat real quick. Somebody says, I'm sorry, can somebody tell me what water repair is for? We've kind of already gone over that. Also, is this why I'm smelling sewer in my bathroom and at random times? So if you want to address the smelling of
after the street, then that's where decent water is responsible for the funding. It's like a clean out issue, you know, where clean out is just to make sure that you and that can cause a smell. If you clean out at 30 and then keep watching, you definitely have a problem, so you just stop working. Oh, yeah.
I need to get that microphone so people can hear. Oh, there you go.
As far as the, pumps, are they monitored 24/7?
And we have a 24, so even with this happening, right, we have usually people 24/7, and we had security staff from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in addition. So that night we had 4 people and 3 criminal problems. We got 3 bypass preventers. We had 1 security threats.
Okay, so it was stated that someone had to turn it off for this to happen.
I guess that's what we're trying to get it on.
Because I'm like, if they're being monitored,
So, yeah. Yeah, so once 16 and 17 there's one watching both pumps. And I guess he went from one side to the other, but as he walked back, you know, the pump was turned off. And now we have 4 pump watch technicians. Because of that, we put up the cameras as well, just so we don't go to this whole ordeal again, because it was painful for your residents, for us, for United as well, for DC Water, for everyone involved. It's very painful. It was a lesson learned what not to do, but what can we do better. That's exactly what we're trying to do.
so the cameras were put up on Sunday.
Yeah, they were put up, just to, because you cannot, if we're not there, we can't see it, we can't put eyes to it, you need eyes above us to see, okay, if it was tampered with, that's the case. We don't know if that was the case, but if that was the case, the cameras are up, just to protect the residents, to protect the pumps itself, because the pumps are very expensive, and to protect United Rentals as well.
So what is the distance?
Well, we had 3 people, plus we had that security person, and another person. Yeah. After the fact.
But what is the distance in between each pump that has to be checked? Where?
There were technicians there. It was just the one, I think it's right on the corner, I think it's 16 and 17. It's just walking distance, right?
No, I asked that question because if you've placed cameras there now,
Yes.
and
It's
the
within the.
person that's monitoring the pump is checking another pump,
Yes.
even though the camera may later identify someone
Right.
turning it off. But if they turn it off prior to the person that's monitoring the pump notice that, then the same thing can happen.
But now we have, pump watch technicians everywhere, and we have the cameras as well. Yep.
So where every pump is,
There's a
different personnel is there.
And security is there as well.
From 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Because they working on days.
Right.
Anybody else?
Yeah, so that is in the area that back out on 18th. So, we'll do tags, the 5 days, so if that happens, we should, experience be back in,
If you pass 18th Street, I would say,
It would be something, and not, it would be something I've, there's some other.
And also, as he stated, smell, I did not experience it prior to more companies and the day coming to me, smell was very strong outside.
Yeah, well,
Very strong outside, like, and the name.
yeah, I think the percent, right, it's addressing those levels on 18th Street.
And you were injecting some sort of liquid or fluid into the pumps to help reduce the smell, right?
No, we do just cover the manholes here, yeah, cover them so there's no air.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
kind of,
But you also said it could be outside. They would be that stated about the smell being in the home. Something can be. But it is. I mean, yes, no. Well, it's true song, okay. Exactly. Your boy loves to come out. I think.
No, I mean, we'll follow up with that, I think with the guys, just make sure that, yeah, there's something we can do for sure.
Yeah, the Lord says, calm down, that is,
So, I have a couple, and I've sent, to be, in all transparency, I've sent these things to you in advance to ask you some questions about, the incident, and where we stand. We have, in regards to the displaced, residents, I understand, and this is late, so I don't know all the details, but some of them have had to be put up in a hotel again, due to potential of hot water heaters, not working. Some have had these, Washington Gas come out and try to relight it. And in some cases, they were informed that their hot water heater was not working because the water, basically, in some cases, in one specific incident that I know, there was a small pan underneath, but the water came up high enough where the water went into the pan, and because it was in the pan, it didn't get sucked out, and the hot water heater sat in the sludge for a period of time. When we're talking about, up until now, United Rentals have been sort of the leading to take care of hotel rooms, necessities like that. Where do we sit with how we taking care of the residents moving forward at this point? Good. And who are you then?
How you doing? I'm Joyous Willis. I work in the Office of Marketing and Communications at DC Water, and I also help greatly with the construction outreach for those additional items as far as what you stated about pertaining to the water heaters and what have you. You should contact the phone number that we had on our presentation. That way that it can be reported and documented, and from there we will figure out a solution as those incidents do come about.
So you're saying that any sort of claim or concern should be called first so that there's a documentation of the concern, and then DC Water is going to be responsible for making that follow-up. And what's the expected amount of time that the residents should expect to hear back in regards to once they call?
Well, this is a dedicated hotline for this incident specifically. As far as the timeline, I am not directly in that department. However, I do know that this is an ongoing issue that we will continue to work on and try to, rectify as much as we can quickly as possible, because we do know this has disturbed our community, really constituents, and we're trying to do the best that we can to rectify everything that we can.
and I guess, I hope you can understand from my perspective, and I'm speaking on behalf of the residents I spoke to all day today and their concerns. If you've got no hot water, the last thing that they want to do is call a phone line and be like, well, we're going to get back to you. So, and I hope you can respect that concern. That sort of response, I don't think is is going to work for them because they're living in their house without any hot water. So, we got to do better than that, and not having a timeline as far as expectations, as far as when DC Water is going to get back to them, or whatever entity is going to get back to them,
Right.
isn't going to work.
Right. And we are handling these issues as they come about. This wasn't something that we knew was going to come about, so we're trying to handle it as quickly and as best as possible. In the interim, if you want to contact me, I can give you my business card so that you'll have my contact information as well. And in addition to having this too, and then I'll always be in the loop with this as well. So I don't mind, passing you my information. If you want to have a person, of course, you have a face with the name now, that you all can reach out to me as well, and I can also try to circulate as much as I can. Okay?
In regards to rebuild, so up until this point, what we basically have had is ProServe come in. They've gutted the individual houses. They've gutted the individual houses, and now that they've left with approximately a foot of drywall or whatever, missing from the bottom. In some cases, we've got carpeting that's been taken out and stuff like that. Where do we stand with these claims, and where does this go from here? How do we get? In fact, in one case, we have a rental unit. We have a rental unit, and then we also have an Airbnb that's losing, business. We have a tenant that's moving into one of the units on Sunday, if that's the first. Yeah. So, again, calling a number isn't gonna work. Who are we turning to, and how are those? So my understanding, let me go back, sorry. A ServePro is gonna come in, they're gonna get estimates. I know they've already taken camera shots and stuff like that. Where do we go from there? And can individuals bring in their own contractor to get estimates to complete the build up? If so, what is that process like? Here you go. Please make sure you have a mic when you.
At this point, I think Joyce, she made a great point. She provided the number. You guys can reach out. At this point, because of all the unknowns, and I got to go with ServePro, we have to get proposals and so forth. But it's not as easy for me to respond to that answer that you I know you normally get an answer from me, but I hate to give you a wrong answer and not provide you an accurate answer without having all the documentation, all the from ServePro, and when they can actually move. And how do we go about handling that to pay for that? So I got to get with the United Rentals as well. So there's a lot of information that I cannot provide you an answer right now, an accurate answer, but if I'll do so, the right time comes along. So I'll wait this week. So after this meeting, I'm going to get in touch with ServePro, and maybe we can start getting proposals to the
Okay, so what I'd like to advocate on behalf of the neighbors is a meeting with the entities here or somebody from your representative on Friday or by the end of the week, and then from here forth on a weekly basis until all the issues are mitigated, because I don't want my constituents not getting responses or having to wait, and at least if we have a predetermined meeting where they, just like here, they knew that they could come here and people were going to be here and that could answer some questions. So let's, if you guys could agree to that, just to make sure that line of communication is, I'll encourage the residents to make the call to the number so that they can file the claim. I just don't want them to feel like they've been given a number to make a claim, and now it's at their peril whenever somebody gets back to them. So if we can do a meeting by the end of the week, and that gives you time to mitigate those issues, and then on a weekly basis up until the time it's completely mitigated, I think that would be a fair thing for the community. And the community, if that doesn't work for you, please feel free to chime in. Sure. Yeah.
State just to, guys, consider, have people for local data, not working, not having to. And if it's, something that has to be done right away for them to maintain their home, to stay in, hot water, whatever the case may be, ServePro coming in, and they have no funds at this time to get that taken care of. So, you know, you all say, you don't know how much time it will take for a claim or a problem to be addressed when they have no funds to get these things done. And waiting on a claim, you know, and you may not be able to stay in your home and may not have nowhere else to go.
Do we have your commitment, for the immediate, like when we were there Sunday afternoon and people needed a place to stay, do we have your commitment that until, if somebody doesn't have hot water, that the hotel will continue to, will take care of that? I think with the, with the layoffs and stuff like that, I don't want in a hot water heater needing to be replaced. And I do think that there's also a time and place that you guys should be able to have the right to look to make sure that the hot water heater was an issue as related to the incident that occurred. However, nobody wants to not have hot water in the winter or when it's starting to get cold too. How can we assure that if somebody can't stay at their house, that they can continue that hotel, they can stay at the hotel, or it's for the immediate needs is what I'm referring to.
And how best we can do it, and we need to get proposals from them to get that done. For me, you asked me to make a commitment. I cannot make a commitment right now to tell you or to say I can put up the people in the hotel for the days to come for this. I need to get from ServePro kind of investigation report, and not only investigation report, but also a proposal to cover all those costs and repair all those damages that took place because of the sewage backup. I'm not. I cannot make a commitment here today that okay, I'm going to put everybody in the hotel room again for I don't know how many days because I have to give them a server right now. So.
Yeah, you could definitely follow on Friday. Yeah, there's some people saying, talk about it.
I'm gonna try to have something soon. As soon as the meeting's over.
And as far as the smell, I know she's gonna go up and just make sure I get structure. Yeah. Right, so it's water, contracts for water. She's our safety representative, so she doesn't independent safety on there to make sure so she is the one, she's the safety representative for the site.
I'm always outside.
Yeah.
They tell you, you'll walk past, I'm sitting out there smoking my cigarette. That's my neighborhood. And I have pride in my neighborhood. What this gentleman here just said sounds like a prophecy. You know what to me? For the simple fact that you put people out of their house, just like she said, they have nowhere to come. It takes the district government to figure out anything. That's a year or better. They don't do things instantly. So that person have to wait a year before he's going to get his hot water heater done, before he's going to get the walls fixed in his house. Because that's the way the district government works.
Well, and let me,
But
but
these are the gentlemen that did it.
let me just be clear that DC Water is not the district government. They are its own private entity.
So it's like the Washington Gas Company did.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, okay, just for the record. Alan, should we be directing these things to DC Water and then you guys dealing with,
Yeah, it's a bigger point, Joey's mentioned.
okay,
So that,
so,
we'll go to one place, then eventually figure it out, some feasible disease, exactly, right? I mean, someday happened, we wanted to get people, to have a place and everything, so now we're trying to reconvene, right? There's other stuff happening as we speak, right? So, but yes, right now, moving forward, we'll, go to DC Water, and they will manage it.
and Joyce will be the point of contact for those concerns then.
Yes.
And,
To contact that one.
yeah, so the first thing that anybody should do is contacting the hotline. And then will you get notification of that phone call?
No, I don't think it's them.
But how does our contact person, which is now you, gonna get notified of that phone call to that hotline?
That's something that we can set up.
So as soon as one of my constituents calls DC Water and makes a claim or has a concern, a copy of that is gonna get to you. We're gonna work that out. Okay.
The timeline was just created for this project, so the timeline's very recent, that's just made, right? So this is not like anyone's number that is just like a random number or a.
So this is a very
This is specific, but it's a project incident, right? So we just created this, just having something, right? So we.
So another project and another part of the city has their nothing to.
They will have a separate one.
Oh, okay.
And that's why, outside of the community, this is not shareable, this is just for the community, right? It's not made of us.
Oh, okay.
But I just have one other statement to make here. And like I stated to you, when we met with you on the corner, is that we were not informed of anything as far as this project. Nothing. Until it started, and it started affecting our breathing, noise,
Don't let it trigger nothing.
nothing. And I still feel like any other sector of the District of Columbia, there would have been notification to the residents. No, that's on you. That's for you.
So,
The planning phase.
So, so I came on board in January, and I brought to the attention of DC Water the concerns that this hole was in the ground, and there was a fence, and I hadn't seen anybody there, so I had to come out and actually inspect it. They confirmed, because it had been a while since anybody had been there. They confirmed that everything was in good, working order, that it was the way it should be. And then, they updated the plan, and provided I think it was a three-pager that I actually personally copied, stapled, brought to everyone along Fairlawn. What I didn't anticipate is that it would affect everyone up to 18th Street. 18th, 19th, that anything past Fairlawn, basically. And so, because I didn't know the direct location of where the generators were going to be. And so when I talked to some of the other neighbors, even before I contacted them about the concern, because I was walking the neighborhood. I walk the neighborhood every night. And I'm like, man, this is really loud. So I reached out to a couple on 18th and said, is this a real problem? And so after that conversation, and then I reached back out to Alan and his team, and that's when we brought them in to have the meeting. And then when I realized, and then since then I've hand delivered updates to them. But I just didn't realize when they provided us the information that the sound or the problem for the sound would be as far as 18th and 19th Street. So, but as soon as I realized that it was an issue, that I brought it to their attention. Yeah. again, I was told that the sound from the sound from the pumps weren't going to be that loud, and so. I mean, and then when I realized it through walking that it was louder than what I would want, that's when I reached out, and they were very responsive, and we brought this where everyone came onto the corner. But
Yeah, so,
at times, and it does seem to vary too. The sound does seem to vary, but how's it been since the pads have been put up in?
Like I said, just like you have.
yeah, I guess in terms of the community updates, we have provided community updates since last year, since this project started. I guess the issue was maybe that we never got to you, so I think the pamphlets, for Meyer, I guess the latest update that we issued, I think last week, we actually hand out pamphlets.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I followed
That
up.
was kind of the follow-up.
I also followed up with it.
Correct. Yeah, so that was, I guess that was as per.
You got my update though, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it's just I guess we're addressing your issue when we talk, I want to make sure that the pamphlet is given to you guys. So, yeah. Yeah, no, that we have provided those updates. I just, for some, electronically, I think, I'm not sure if that was available as a pamphlet. So now we're adding on to that to physically distribute one along the street. So, so I guess that was, improvement.
So I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I just have a couple of last questions in regards to where we stand. Where do we stand with the air quality control at Anacostia High School? Do you know? Say that again. Say what? I didn't hear it.
The kids are going to report to Kramer High School.
Oh, the kids are reporting to Kramer.
Kramer.
Okay, that's very good. I didn't even know that, so that's good. That's good to know that. So school is going to be in place, but their students are going to go to Kramer, basically. Okay. No, which we appreciate. We really appreciate you sharing, because this is literally information that hasn't been shared with us at all. So I appreciate you sharing that with me.
For that one, so we're working with the DC public school officials, but I think the official communication will come from them. We're, of course, assisting them as much as we can to make.
Who's actually performing the air quality checks?
So from them. Right now, the air quality, it's a sub under ServePro.
On ServePro?
Yeah, but it's a sub under, because it's an expert that has to come in. So, but any official communication and then updates of the school and everything, that will come from DC public schools.
However, if a community member has a question about what's going on at the school, I would have expectations that DC Water share that.
Yeah, we'll share as much.
So, okay.
Yeah. Because right now it's a lot of moving pieces. People are actively working on site. So it's a lot of it's a lot of pieces on that aspect. We're just trying to mitigate everything as soon as possible. We're trying to make sure that schools, the kids go back to schools. So that's ultimately the goal, right? We're trying to get
right. Sure. Of course. Safely.
So we're actively working on it. It's not, so that's the bottom of it. So.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions here? Yeah.
They do their tests. But they test for the gases, parts per million in our neighborhood.
What do you mean?
Okay, it's a box that when I was in the military, before I was going to work on gas tank on B-130.
Okay.
Okay, that gas free engineer, I do that before I get to the plane, I do it also, but I get on it side. Do you all have someone that does that in our neighborhood? For that the gases, that construction is putting on parts per billion for every function. That would definitely, you have an answer to this, probably no. But could you check into that for us?
I'll check. Gotcha. Obviously. Yep.
Your body. Yes, you know, the fumes that's about the sewage is also, that's it. And that's what I want to go with the watch for me. Yeah. It's a guideline, that's, it's the law, it's okay, it's the law, yeah, and Frank. Well, there's a pre-permit plan? I haven't heard anything about Frank. Frank is the proper way from Anacostia. Yeah, it's in there.
Kramer, was not affected by,
Just saying. We talk about the area. That is gas.
Okay, sorry. So, I know that there's several residents that are on from the Fairlawn community, from Fairlawn. Does anybody else have any questions from the Teams meeting? Or if anybody has any other questions from inside the room as well? Okay. Yeah, it's, I just changed the mic, so hopefully they'll be, can everybody hear okay now? Yes, okay, good. Okay, it should be better now. Any other questions? Any other questions from, the Teams meeting? We would like to hear from ServePro on the status of the estimates for the homes. So my understanding is ServePro will be doing estimates for DC Water or whatever entity. Yeah, for the repairs. Where does that stand and how do we look? How's that looking?
Here, so we can get those right away. If we need to keep them hotel, because if it's gonna take a long time, then I need to get this first.
When will Anacostia High School and its after-school services be reopened? So we're hearing from a parent that's in the room, specifically that students are returning to Kramer tomorrow morning, and that's what we know, right? Say it again. So you received a text from Anacostia saying that students are going to be reporting, but they're going to be reporting to Kramer Middle School for class tomorrow. Okay. And as far as ServePro, we'll have a follow-up from you guys, and we'll meet again with the community on Friday, moving forward. Okay, any other questions? Not yet, because I think we have to probably look at everyone's schedule, but let's say afternoon, hopefully sometime in the afternoon.
Yeah.
We'll get it, and we'll get it out to you to all, since we just sort of came up with this tonight. So, okay. Did you have a question? Oh, okay, sorry. If anybody is in the room hasn't signed the sort of sign in, if you wouldn't mind before everybody leaves, we do have additional business to conduct for ANC8A01 about things happening in the community, other unrelated, thankfully, unrelated to DC Water. So if you do need to speak with DC Water, if you do need to speak with, DC Water, please take it outside of the room so that we can still continue to go over. Hey, Dion, I just want to recognize Dion because Dion is from ServePro. ServePro, Dion did a phenomenal job. I heard from multiple people, from our neighbors. You guys, I really want to acknowledge, there's an acknowledgement of a lot of hard work in the last couple of days that I should not overlook. Dion was out there till what, 6 o'clock in the morning? 9 a.m. And, I know he saw me throughout the day and then at 11 o'clock at night. And so, his team did a lot of the emergency repair work. So, Dion, I genuinely thank you for taking good care of our neighbors because, there was a lot of trust issues at first, and until you came on, I think that people put a lot of trust in you. As you know, a lot of them left you into their houses and stuff like that while they were at the hotel. So I genuinely thank you for your service and for our, and for the and for being here too. And ServePro, please make sure that gets noted for him and his team because they did do a good job, and I've heard from a lot of the residents about it. So, and then I'll also say publicly, the DC Water team has been here every day. Has been even though we may not have all the answers right now, these guys have been working very, very hard, and for that I do appreciate it, and I know the community does as well. They have been here from early morning till late at night, and as well as Sean from United Rentals. So we may have some tough questions to ask, but I want to make sure that it's on the record that you guys I've seen it myself, and I appreciate all the hard work that everyone's doing behind the scenes to get it addressed. And today it was gold. So so thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. If anybody has wants to discuss anything with DC Water or any of the other entities, please just take it outside or upstairs, so that we can. We have about a half an hour left to just address a couple of small issues or small things with the. I really appreciate it.
Tom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, awesome, great. That's one of the things we're gonna talk about. So.
Yeah, I don't need to say.
Okay.
I want to have her to come in and she's gonna film. She's gonna film and let her come in my house.
Okay, yeah.
Film my bathroom.
Okay, great.
As well, yeah, I am. And, I don't even know if you remember me from my yard when I was out there fixing my porch and everything. Yeah. So,
You got it all done?
yeah, Miss Annie, so, I will be, attending the meetings and communicating with you, and I got some information for my neighbors and things to make it.
And I'll be staying on top of it too. I mean, I think hopefully, I appreciate that.
Doing an excellent job. And, getting to know you.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate that. I thank you for the opportunity for getting, that's really.
But I see what you're doing.
I care about you. You guys are like my family. I don't have family, so, here in DC, so I care about you. I want to make sure that you guys are taken care of.
Yeah, but 1440.
Gotcha.
18th Street.
Yep, with the new porch.
In the neighborhood, not on the door.
I'm in the neighborhood every day.
I see it walking.
I know. Okay. She's the advisor for water. She also walked with us. She's been with us a couple different times, but she's a safety advisor for DC Water. So, she'd be a good person to keep informed. And, okay, good. I mean, let's talk offline, if that's okay. Thank you. Yep, thank you. Take care. You have the actual verbiage for it? Okay, thank you. Yeah. You got it before I did, so. Okay. Hey, Carol. Yeah. Okay, so let me get back to a couple of things here real quick, and I'll finish up in the next 15 minutes, I promise, because I too, it's been a long day. With that all said, let me get back to my agenda. Okay, so we've got a couple things. First of all, I would, let me see if I'm back here. Sorry, let me see, you all can see me. Perfect. Okay. First of all, thank you. Oh my gosh, this is, you know, when I asked for the community support, y'all came out and y'all, I mean, I have bags and bags and bags and bags of candy. Oh, you can't see me. They can see me, but of candy. You can't see me because I'm looking at the agenda here, but they can see me. And so, please begin. I've been a little busy with this situation, but tomorrow I'll be putting out pretty aggressively Halloween in front of Kramer Middle School, 7:30 on Friday. We've got lots of, and y'all get good candy too. Let me tell you, like this is some. Although this isn't Flintstones. Okay, I like this. So, and let me tell you, y'all are teasing me because I smell and see all these bags of candy, and this is just a little, not even a fraction of it. But y'all, like, here I'm the one in the hospital for getting a tooth removed on Monday, and I have to see and smell all this candy every day. So, thanks. But with that said, let me just go over a couple of business-related things. 1409 22nd Street. So, yeah, thanks. We have started construction. Carol knows that the neighbor, and Daphne's right around the corner. So, we have started construction. There, I think it's a 48 unit, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. They started digging, and so this is the same contractor that did 2 other units or 2 other properties on 22nd Street. So we're very familiar with them, and it's Carol. It should be an interesting experience. So let's just put it that way. I want to stress the fact that in dealing with stuff like that, I sometimes have to play a really unique role, and that is not only advocating on behalf of the neighborhood, but also learning to how best to work with individuals that may be difficult to work with. And from the other projects that he has had on 22nd Street, it could be an interesting encounter over the next year and a half. So the project's going to take about a year and a half, and he got all his permits and stuff. So if anybody has any concerns or questions or comments about any of the work being done, feel free to reach out to me. I do plan. I've already gone out and talked to him when he started digging, and have had a conversation with him about working together. So feel free to reach out if you have concerns or problems. I just mentioned about Halloween night at Kramer, 7:30 p.m. I'm a photographer and a videographer, so I'm going to bring my camera with me so we can take some pictures of the kids. And I'll put pictures on my Facebook page. So if you don't want any of your kids on my Facebook page, please do not have your picture taken. Because it's going to be difficult to tell who does and who doesn't. So if you're out there out in front of the school, but you'll be able to go to my Facebook page and actually retrieve the pictures. So I'm kind of excited about that. Kind of looking forward to seeing all the ghostly goblins out there in 8A01. I would like to also congratulate the Kramer Hornets for a phenomenal win on their homecoming night. They blew them away, and we had the cheerleaders out there and the band. You know, these are all entities that spend a lot of time with the kids, and I was surprised to find out that a lot of these outside entities are contractors of DCPS, and so they're not like they're not like DCPS paid staff people. They're a lot of times third-party entities that come in and do work for the students. So kudos to them. We've got a lot going on in the community. We have the holidays coming up. I would like to draw, I'm not going to go over because of the timing, but there are several letters that I have written to our full commission in the last week or two. I'd like to draw your attention to them. They can be found on my Facebook page. I think they're self-explanatory, but I'd like to see some programmatic changes and just sort of basic meeting etiquette brought to our committee, to our meetings. I'd also like to see some committees created. I am in favor of doing a truancy committee to better address truancy within our community. And so these are all things that I've written, put in writing, and submitted to our chair, along with some concerns that I've had. So one of the things that, and I haven't really, I had gotten all excited about, and I have a proposal and stuff, but one of the things that I'm going to be working on in the coming weeks and months, and I hope to bring other members of council and other entities to do the same thing, is a campaign that says, "How you doing?" It's a pretty basic thing to say, "How are you doing?" And that is, how are you doing mentally? How are you feeling? How are you doing? It's very basic. We're back to the holidays, and I think it's really important that we as a community continue to be close as a community. And there's portions of our community that aren't close that I'd like to be able to bring closer. And I know that allies like Galilee Baptist Church, who has done phenomenal work in our community, who has done work for not only Boone, but for Kramer. They recently did packs, hygiene kits, yes. And if you haven't seen, oops, here. This is Reverend Oldham. Hello, Reverend Oldham, how are you? Her and the team have really done a lot and really have helped out the community, and we continue to look forward to your continued work. One of the things that, a couple of things that we actually, do you want to talk about a couple of the upcoming things that we have coming up? I know we've got turkey giveaway, and we've figured out a way of being able. Should have ticket for Ransom for that Friday meeting, I think, but sorry.
And well, yes, we have partnered with this what we in Kramer. We are looking forward to starting these on Friday. It's going to be a major project for us in the 1st of December, and we really want the residents to donate votes and stock for this funding contribution. Galilee has set up a sales account for this community for this project. Simply go on to Galilee's some folks and people.
It's a QR code. I haven't posted it yet.
Yeah, it's not posted. So it's the big financial contribution. We have to put it in. It is for great for people. By foods and everything new. By new items for the scholars. from what they've shown up, including this reason. So we will be partnering with other organizations, they just go try.
And for folks that may not be able to necessarily contribute, for people that may not be able to contribute right now, are there volunteer opportunities where people can give their time other than their financial?
An item and want to get a schedule of people to volunteer their time to see the donations as far as those, and then ways to set up and time if you be something.
And so I will work on getting the QR code out to the community where you can just scan it and make contributions through Sally. I can't stress enough that the community support. I mean, if you could, do anything like you did with candy, I have so much candy. So please stop by. I volunteer anyone that if anybody wants to dress me or has an old a costume that want to just have some fun, let me know. I'd like to be able to do that, but if somebody has an old costume, they want to have a little fun and get dressed up for the kids on Friday. Come on out, let's do it. Let's have some fun. And so the last thing that I wanted to do is talk about something else very important to me, and I have to apologize that to Ms. McFarland because it was a packed meeting with a lot of discussion and important discussion about Fairlawn and the water situation. But as a lot of you know, I was attacked by a pit bull a little over a month ago, and a lot of people have asked me where the situation stands with the dogs and investigation. And so, Ms. McFarland, if you were there, if you could maybe unmute yourself and maybe if you're able to go on video, great. If you could give us an update as to where we are and where we've been and where I know one of the big questions is what's going on with the dog that is happening.
So let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm having a little bit of difficulty hearing you.
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, very good. So, first of all, let me say good evening to everyone. I am Joy McFarland Mills. I work for DC Health. And this case did come to us. Mr. Donohue, oh good, I could see that, but was on the news and he was attacked. Our team with Brandywine Valley SPCA coordinated with Mr. Donohue very quickly. And I will say Mr. Donohue has been very proactive with working with DC Health and team members here at DC Health with our attorneys, myself, and other members. I did want to go over some things that the community may have as questions. One of the things that we noted in our discussions is that maybe the team or the community does not know who to reach out to in the event of an emergency as such. This one was highly publicized, so that came in quickly. And Mr. Donohue, I think you've already started to proactively speak to residents as to what they can do if something like this does occur, but you want to immediately notify Animal Care and Control. And I sound a little bit tired, but please excuse me for that. It's been a long day. And the number is, yes.
Trust me, I understand long day.
If anybody wants to take down the number, any bites that occur in your neighborhood, 202-888-7387. And the 7387 stands for pets. That's probably an easier way to remember it. In the event that you are having a serious issue like the one that Mr. Donohue had, please proceed to call 311-911. And Metropolitan Police will be on scene to assist. Animal Control works directly with Metropolitan Police Department. We did talk about this case in depth because it was presented as a dangerous dog case. There's a statute that outlines the animal control laws, 18-801, 1801, and 1901. And 1901 consists of the dangerous dog statute. And there are particular things that we follow in the district. We gather evidence the same way. We just have to follow a full process. We did go through all of this with this particular case. I invited our animal control on to this call, so we want to make sure that the case is fully closed. We don't divulge information while the case is ongoing. And Mr. Donohue was able to get on with us, give DC Health his take. He did talk to animal control and the like. I know I'm speaking for an extended period of time, but please let me know if you have any questions. And are you still able to hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. You're
Okay.
good, you're good.
Any questions from the community
Yeah.
before I continue to move on?
Yeah, so one of the constituents here is asking, so what is the status of the case?
So I can't give a status at this time, but I will update you. Still under investigation.
Okay.
And if you need me to go over what an investigation looks like, I can.
Mr. Crown, I think the community is more concerned about their safety because these are people that walk in the community and walk by. I mean, they know where these dogs live, and so I know I expressed the same very concern to you about the dog that attacked me, and it doesn't take we have it on video, so it's very apparent that this is a dangerous dog. In my opinion, now it may not be it may not be a dangerous dog per se in the eyes of how the statute or the code is written. However, it is a dangerous dog given the fact that many people saw this pit bull come in and just attempt to rip my dog apart. And so I guess I was hoping to get some sort of an update on where we stand with the dogs, given the fact that we're all here, and I'll give the floor to Ms. Scott or Crystal if you want to see you have your hand raised.
Oh, part of what you said went out, but I'm gonna say, let me know if you hear me. I think you were asking about where the case is and as far as the statute is concerned. So I do want to say to the community, it was communicated to DC Health that it does appear to be an unsafe environment. Whenever there is a public safety risk, we do take action. So they have to monitor that and make sure of that, but the dog can be taken so that you understand that if that is occurring, that is something DC Health will look into and monitor. But we will work with the owner of the dog to make a surrender. Now, what a surrender does look like is they willfully know that my dog is posing a threat to the public.
And so where do we stand with my particular situation with the dog that attacked me and my dog?
That's still under investigation.
Okay.
Right, the dog
so,
is still in the owner's possession? That's my question.
From my understanding, that is correct. Is the question, was the dog still in the owner's possession?
In the owner's possession, the German Shepherd and the Pit Bull, are they in the owner's possession?
The terrier, okay, the Pit Bull, yes. Okay.
and so you said it's still under investigation. What is left to be investigated out of curiosity? Because the neighborhood and those living in and around Taylor and 19 are very concerned that many of them have their own dogs and walk that area. And so I don't know what all additional investigation has to be done, but at some point, why don't we just say the investigation is done? Because I'm not sure, not aware of any additional steps that either DOH or anyone has left to do. But at what point does this investigation end and a decision is made? Anybody who showed that video to will self-evidently claim without a doubt that that's a dangerous dog. And so that having that dangerous dog continue to be, out and about, is certainly very alarming. And as you well know, a lot of people have been interested in this case and, have a right to know whether they're safe when they're walking down the street with or without their dogs.
I think you asked about the status. If that's a mic that you're holding, it's not coming through clearly. So I think we're still talking about the status and the investigation. So here's my suggestion, and we spoke about this. If there are other members of the community that this is happening to, I will give my number as well, but immediately we need you to also contact animal control. And I do realize that there is some hesitancy sometimes there regarding these types of cases, but rest assured, we need that information to be able to move forward. This case is very unique, as with many of them with dangerous dog cases. This one is very visual. We could see it, but we definitely want to have that information. We talked about that, Mr. Donohue. This is nothing that that we didn't deny. We just have to have the information from both parties.
No, and I get that, and I
Now you're
understand.
clear. There you go.
I get that, and I understand that. However, there is a provision in the law that allows the mayor to determine that a dog is unsafe, and so has that provision of the law been considered to be executed? This dog has gotten loose on many occasions, and whether it's one occasion or many occasions, the dog's aggressive ability is clear on video. And so, I'm going to be honest with you and just be frank with you. The community wants something done with the dog, and so do I. It's not safe. The dog has viciously attacked me and my dog, and even though others may not have necessarily reported it directly, I don't know how that 1 versus 3 reports of the dog being attacked.
Correct. And we don't want repeat incidences that we could definitely prevent. So that definitely, I hear you and I understand what you're saying. So I do agree. The district doesn't want that to happen either. If we can have preventable incidences, we want to move as quickly as possible on that. So I will follow up this week. We have heard you. We appreciate that. We don't want to discount anything that you're saying. We agree. We definitely don't want people getting hurt. We want you to feel safe. We want you to be able to walk your dogs appropriately and not be in fear to do that.
And I appreciate, but now what are you going to do about it? I guess is the question.
So, and again, I'll have to go back to the DC Health attorneys, which you met, and we'll discuss this and ensure that, and I think we got a question, ensure that we get into the neighborhood and work with this dog that still is causing some concern for the neighborhood. This is a serious concern.
Even if it's the provision where the mayor can dictate that it's a dangerous dog and step in herself, then that's what needs to be done. Carol, I'm sorry, what we're saying?
Yeah, and that's part of the public health.
The date of it?
Say it again.
One of my constituents is asking me what the date of my attack was, and I'm going to look it up real quick.
I want to say your attack
It was
was
in September.
In the September the 30th.
Yeah, like the 25th or something like that.
Because it came to us in the 1st of October. So I want to say a weekend, and the last weekend in September.
September 22nd. And so.
Mr. Donohue, you'll have to repeat for her, because I can't hear.
She was just saying that, you know, that people don't necessarily know what to do. And now that we have the number, that we put the number out, it's more about, at this point, in retrospect, is about, consequences to the actual behavior of which, the owner, you know, allowed it to happen. And not only allowed it to happen, but the behavior in which the dog presented itself without the owner there. So, you know, this is an aggressive dog. And that's what's very concerning to me, is that with or without the, you know, owner, like this wasn't like nobody prompted it to attack me. It just instinctively did, you know, attacked me and caused great harm to the dog that I had, of which I surrendered back to the SPCA for various reasons, including the fact that its health care was too much. This was out of pocket. You know, out of pocket was going to be too much, and so you know, it was traumatic to have this dog, you know, 100-pound dog, where, you know, you genuinely think that your life is in risk. I mean, the way he charged it. So I want to see something done with the dog, and if that's your office contacting the mayor and considering some sort of act, you know, the action of it being removed. That's what the community also is saying from many different people in the community.
And Joy, you offered your information as well as the 888
Oh,
PET number.
absolutely. Yes, would you like it?
Can we
I
get
can
your
drop it in
information
the
as
chat.
well?
Would you want me to
Thank
drop? I
you.
can drop it in the chat.
Yes, please.
And if you could, let's, and I know I've been a little busy, so I apologize, and I know I just got you the meeting information today because it's been between being in the hospital and then the school thing. Can you follow up with me in a week within the week and give me an update as to where we are, and I'll pass that information along to the community. And for the person F, I'm not sure who F is, but it says it's the gray dog. This is the dog that was at it's a pit bull that is on the corner of 19th Street and Naylor Road, Southeast. And if you haven't seen it, just Google my name and pet a dog attack, because it's widely, the video is out there. So okay, so I'll look forward to hearing from you, Ms. Farland, as regards within the week as to what's being done with the dog.
Oh, absolutely. You were, before the week is out, actually.
Great,
Okay.
thank you.
We'll update you.
Excellent. And I will pass that along to the community once I hear of what the outcome of that was. Guys, I know this is a long meeting, and I appreciate everyone sticking by. Is there anyone, I want to make sure that anybody has any other concerns or questions or to feel free to speak open or unmute themselves and ask any questions or concerns that you may have about anything in the community. Thank you, Crystal. I appreciate it. Okay, with that said, it has been a long 3 days, and so I appreciate everyone being here. Thank you very much. I'll give you my contact information. I can be reached at tom.donahue@anc.dc.gov. And my phone number, I can be reached at, this is my cell phone number, so 202-560-1994. I thank everyone for helping me out. Thanks for coming. Thank you to all of the people who donated candy. There's a lot of candy to give out, so please join me on Friday. Dress your best. Come help pass out the candy with me, because I'd love for it to be as much of a community event as possible, especially given everyone's participation in donating the candy. So thank you. Oh, I should say, I did take one bag and I presented it to, I said that and everyone looked up at me going, "Oh, what'd you do with the candy? I saw you doing that." Anyway, and so I did an MPD ride along with, a ride-along with MPD last night until 3 o'clock this morning. So, I got home shortly after 3, and I took a bag, because there was a lot, to, drop off it with MPD, the 60, our officers that would patrol our streets. They were very thankful and they were very happy. So I'm glad I did that, and, just as a thank you from our community. We don't get to do that very often, and there was, enough bags, that I felt that saying, giving a little bit of thank you to them was, is always a good thing. So, if anybody doesn't have any questions, I'll let you go. Reverend Odom, I thank you again for allowing us to use the church. I apologize for running a little bit late today as well. I tried to get it firmed up. But, everyone, have a good night. Thank you for everything. If you need anything, feel free to reach out to me, call me, and, thank you. Have a good night.